Hello smart investors, welcome to Real Estate Made Easy. This is where we educate you about smart investment in real estate and how to avoid costly mistakes other people are making when it comes to real estate investment so that you can actually have investment with peace of mind. Today we are discussing an important topic: how to lose your property even if it has a CFO or governor consent. Let's get started. Number one way of losing your property even if it has a CFO or governor consent is to buy it from the wrong person. Now let me give you a classical example, a true life story of how this had played out. There was a time somebody wanted to buy a property and he approached this family because his interest was actually to buy a property with a CFO or a governor consent. So the search has been on and on and on. So this person eventually got the property on the mainland in Lagos. And the people who wanted to sell the property to him said the property has a CFO and it has a governor consent, blah, blah, blah. Okay. As soon as the person heard that information, he informed the lawyer, my lawyer, I've gotten a property that has a CFO. So the lawyer swung into action. The lawyer requested that, okay, let me see the document to this property. Let me know who is selling it. The people were already feeling bad about, oh, just pay and all of that. But he being a property lawyer knows that there are some things he needs to check and he needs to ask before actually even asking his client to commit any payment. To cut the long story short, these people truly have the governor consent to the property. So when the lawyer saw the governor consent, they told him, now that you have seen the document you have been asking for, so tell your client to pay. That was he insisted that no, I might need to see the person selling this property. That is when the real story was now revealed. When the lawyer insisted that he wants to know the person who owns the property, that was when the people were not saying, they had the person who actually owns the property is an engineer, he works with this company, he works with that company, but he didn't buy the property in his own name. He bought the property in the name of his grandmother so that his village people will not be after him, that he is not a big man, he's not a big boy in Lagos having a property. Those stories did not really interest the lawyer much. He was insistent on getting to know the owner of that property. Eventually, he started doing his own investigative analysis about the property. So he went to the people who were squatting that property. That, okay, who is your landlord here or your landlady? How has this person been coming to collect the rent and what have you? These people then said, normally there used to be a woman that used to come and collect rent from them. But for some time now, they have not been seen her for about 3 years ago. So that triggered the curiosity of the lawyer the more. So eventually the lawyer traced the house of the original owner of the property. On getting there, he found the owner to be an aged woman, somebody who has even lost a memory. She couldn't even recognize the person who brought the lawyer before her, not to talk of her own children. This to show you that this woman does not remember anything. Now the original person who owns this property truly is this aged woman, but this woman has lost her memory, she's aged, and she's unconscious of people around her. So there was no how this woman could have been the right senses to actually sell the property. It was later revealed that these children, in coalition with other family members, have been selling her property off to different people, to fake agents, and they will use a document, original document, and they will forge their signature for the transaction to go smoothly. This has been happening on and on. God only saved this particular client from being a victim to this scenario, because if she had eventually succeeded in buying this property, what would have happened? One, she would have bought a stolen property. She would have gotten a contract from somebody who is not supposed to enter contracts. She would have also entered a contract with somebody who is not of sound mind. And if this person eventually even build on the property, that property will be demolished and there will be no compensation whatsoever. And even if the person has made some payment to the government in terms of either now having a government consent in her own name, having a survey plan in her own name, all of these legal documents will be null and void because she does not buy the property from the right person. The property in question is a stolen property. I believe you do not want to be in that shoe. Another way by which you can lose your property, even if it has a CFO or a governor consent, is if there's a defect in transfer history. Now, assuming that two people or more are the original owner of the property, now in Mr. and Mrs. Lagbaja Omo Tamado were the owner of this property. Now, those were the names on the document, but that is husband and wife, for instance. But eventually, it's the husband that wants to sell the property to you, or the wife that wants to sell the property to you, without the consent of the other partner. If you go ahead with that purchase, whether sooner or later, the other person gets to know about it, and it comes out clean that he or she does not know about that transaction. Well, no matter what you have used in buying that property, no matter the amount of money you have spent in acquiring that property, no matter how strategic that property is, no matter how much you have also used in getting your own new deed of assignment, getting your own survey plan, everything, no matter the documentation you must have done on it, you have only wasted your time and energy, because the other person can claim that he has not consented to that transaction and that transaction is not legal. So what does that mean? It means that the CFO that the property in question has is of no use to you. So that is making a wrong purchase. Another way by which you can lose your property, even if it has a CFO or a governor consent, is that if that property is under mortgage. You see, once some people are acquiring property because they know for sure that they have perfected their title, they have a CFO on it, they have a governor consent on it. Now, these people, due to one reason or the other, they may be in need of financial assistance. And so, where did they go to? They go to all these financial institutions to borrow loan and what have you. Maybe for business or for any other that thing they needed the money for. And now, these people who are knowing them, they will definitely request for the original copy of their documents that they have on that property in question that they are using as collateral. Now, perhaps the CFO or the governor consent that they have original copy have been submitted to these people. So, and you, because you do not know, you went ahead to buy the same property. Now, and you have been enjoying your possession because you thought you have gotten, they showed you a copy of the CFO they have on the property, and you were happy with it. They show you a copy of the governor consent they have on the property, and you're happy with it. So you went ahead with the transaction. Only after years, when these people could not meet up with their loan obligation, then these people who have borrowed their money, they started disturbing them, saying, we need our property, you need our money, or we seize your property. In that instance, you could lose this property. Example of such property, a property possession taken by AMCON, or AMCON has taken possession of this property. So because that property was used as a collateral, and now this organization, they've taken ownership of that property, so they could sell it to other people. So you who have a CFO, who have a governor consent, thinking that your property has a governor consent, and you do not know the original owner of that property has used your property as a collateral. And you, because you didn't even bother to even perfect your own title, you thought the property you have is your own. It's not your own. So now you could actually lose that property and nothing will happen, because the original owner of that property has used the property as collateral, even though it claims to you that that property has a CFO and a governor consent. That is true, but that original document has been used as a collateral for obtaining loan, and now AMCON has taken possession of that property. So there's nothing you can actually do about that. Another means by which you could lose your property, even if that property has a CFO or a governor consent, is that if the survey plan on that property is not correct, that is, if the surveyor is dubious as at the time of doing that coordinate for you. So if the person, at least there's a criminal activities they normally do, they will known as what, flying of coordinates. Perhaps the property in question you want to buy is in Ikoyi, and then the coordinate of the one given to you is the one in Lekki, because that one in Lekki has a CFO, so that they can, because that one in Lekki is free from government encumbrances and whatever, so they could easily perfect the title. So in your own interest, you thought you have made the right purchase, not knowing, but by the time you now go further, you realize that the property in question, it is not original, because the survey plan of that document, because you cannot have a CFO or a governor consent on the property that is not well surveyed, and because of the fact that the crime also committed by some of these civil servants as well, because before you can lodge your survey plan, they are supposed to come and check that the coordinate you have on your paper is similar to the one you have physically on the ground. But because some of them, either they have collected money or what have you, they may not come to verify. So if they do not do that and you go ahead and make that purchase, it means that by the time it will be discovered, you will just realize that you are making a wrong purchase. And finally, another means by which you could lose your property, whether it has a CFO or not, is that if that property is under dispute or litigation, if two parties are contending on a property and the court judgment favors a party, let's assume at the high court level, that judgment favors a party, and so the party eventually sold the property to you, and you went ahead to perfect your document on that property to having a CFO or what have you. Then in the long run, the other party appeal the judgment, not only just stop there, eventually has a Supreme Court judgment in their favor. Believe you me, no matter how much you have spent in acquiring that property, how much you have spent in supporting the other party up to the high court level to get the judgment in their favor, all those money and energy are just wasted, because the other party whose court judgment at the Supreme Court is in their favor will be the rightful owner of that property. So you can easily lose your title on that document that you have gotten a CFO or a governor consent. It is of no use any longer, because court judgment at the Supreme Court level is more superior, and if this favors the other party, then you can lose your right to that property. I believe you do not want to be in that shoe. So what is the solution to all of this? As you know, with Real Estate Made Easy, we try as much as possible to give you the pro tips on how to make a real estate investment with peace of mind. So give you advice, tips and warnings so that you can actually make investment with peace of mind. Now I will be sharing with you the pro tips for you to know so that you can salvage yourself when you find yourself in this situation. Number one, you must know that you cannot build something on nothing. So you need to be sure that whoever is claiming that he or she has a property to sell to you, be sure that that person truly is the rightful owner to sell that property. That is, the person has the right to sell the property to you. You need to be sure of that. Not only that, also be sure that the document he or she claims to have, that document is genuine and truly belongs to that person. That way you will be double sure that the person who is selling the property to you is the rightful owner of the property, and that the document being presented to you is also valid. That will give you a double advantage of being a smart real estate investor. So I hope you have actually learned one thing or the other in being a smart investor. With Beckley Consult Real Estate is Made Easy. That is why we are come up with this opportunity of educating you, informing you, enlightening you, so that you can make the best of real estate investment with peace of mind. I hope you have gained value from watching this episode. Please kindly remember to subscribe and like this channel.